The United States Navy intervened after 3 commercial ships were attacked in the Red Sea. The U.S. naval destroyer shot down multiple drones that were launched from Houthi-controlled areas of Yemen. Here is National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan addressing the incident.
3 vessels that are connected to 14 different nations, which goes to show you the extent to which this is truly a source of global concern and a threat to international peace and stability. We have every reason to believe that these attacks, while they were launched by the Houthis in Yemen, were fully enabled by Iran.
Nancy Cordes and Nikole Killion join us now. Nancy is CBS News' chief White House correspondent. Nikole is a CBS News congressional correspondent. Nancy, let's begin with you. What's the latest from the White House on this attack?
Well, Bob, the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, told us earlier today that the U.S. is now in talks with its partners in the region to try to determine whether it can set up some sort of maritime task force. This is something that is used in other dangerous parts of the world, essentially to offer these commercial ships safer harbor as they move through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea after what we saw over the weekend. He said that he has nothing to announce at this time, but that this is a growing concern after these 3 ships were fired on 4 times. Take a listen to what else he had to say about this incident.
The Houthis have threatened to attack any commercial ship in that region that has ties to Israel. You mentioned the fact that these ships had ties to 14 different countries. Did all of these ships have ties to Israel?
I can't answer that definitively, but we don't think so. We do not believe that all 3 of the ships had ties to Israel, and it goes to show you the level of recklessness that the Houthis are operating on. We are talking about the Houthis here. They're the ones with their finger on the trigger. But that gun, the weapons here, are being supplied by Iran. And Iran, we believe, is the ultimate party responsible.
And that's actually what makes all of this so challenging, because as the U.S. looks to respond to these incidents, it doesn't want to court a wider conflict, a conflict directly with Iran. And so far, that means, Bob, that the U.S. has not gone after the sites where these missiles and drones were launched this weekend.
And Nancy, turning to Ukraine, where is the White House on possible aid for that war-torn country?
Well, the budget director here at the White House, Shalanda Young, sent a pretty dire letter to the Speaker of the House today, warning him that the U.S. is essentially going to run out of all funds to help Ukraine fight this war by the end of the year. Obviously, we have known that this day was coming, but she really put a firm deadline on it and said that Congress cannot wait any longer. If it does, she argued, and those concerns were echoed by the National Security Advisor today, that Ukraine will be in danger of either losing some of the territory it has gained back or even potentially going into an economic tailspin. They say that U.S. aid is necessary. The U.S. has to provide it now. But of course, this has all gotten tangled up on Capitol Hill in this wider fight over border security. That's something that Republicans have been pushing for. And those talks have kind of been going in circles with no end in sight. So we're really getting close to the end of the year here, Bob, with no resolution.
A lot of urgency from the White House. But meanwhile, Speaker Mike Johnson, a Republican, is speaking out about a possible impeachment of President Biden. Let's listen.
A formal impeachment inquiry vote on the floor will allow us to take it to the next necessary step. And I think it's something we have to do at this juncture.
Nikole, when you look at Speaker Johnson's remarks there on impeachment, he's talking about moving down that path while also contending with the issues of Ukraine and the issues of border talks and whether there could be a compromise there. In terms of what's most important to follow tonight, what are you looking at?
Well, I think just to piggyback off of Nancy, with respect to this supplemental funding, as she outlined, the White House really stressed the urgency of this situation in talking to a number of lawmakers who are supportive about providing additional aid, particularly to Ukraine. They are warning that they are running out of money and that time is of essence. But then you look at these border talks as congressional Republicans insist that the border has to be tied to some kind of Ukraine funding, and they appear to be faltering. You know, we heard from Senator Lankford, who's been leading these talks, who over the weekend said they are making progress. But then just today on the Senate floor, you have Leader Schumer saying that Republicans are making extreme demands, for instance, on the issue of detention with respect to asylum seekers, and that they're really just too draconian to try to move forward. So that really begs the question, kind of where does this leave this supplemental aid that the White House is clamoring for? Because, of course, this was tied up in a bigger deal to provide funding not only for Ukraine and the border, but also for Israel and the Indo-Pacific. And now it appears it could be in jeopardy. Obviously, with respect to the impeachment inquiry, this is something that we saw Republicans bring up late last week. There is a desire to move forward with a formal vote to authorize an impeachment inquiry in the House, something we could see as soon as this week, possibly next week, certainly before the House breaks for the recess.
Nikole, if this new speaker moves down the path toward impeachment of President Biden, could that provide him with some sort of political cover with conservatives who would be angry if he moved forward with Ukraine funding?
Well, you know, possibly. But look, you know, part of this impeachment inquiry and the desire to move forward is because House Republicans contend that the White House is stonewalling them. Also, this does give them some political talking points as we move into the 2024 election cycle. And we have seen strong pushback from the White House continuing to try to debunk this inquiry. And what's interesting is just late last week, you know, House Republicans emphasized that they did need more time with their inquiry. You know, we had heard some rumblings that maybe things may be winding down, but obviously not necessarily the case if they are potentially looking to formalize this vote, continue their line of investigation. You know, politically speaking, will that give the speaker cover? Unclear, because as you know, this is a very tenuous conference, even more so with the exodus now of George Santos and now having a narrower majority.
And some Democrats tell me that they're uneasy about these border talks because they don't want to move to the center or the right on immigration policy just to get Ukraine money.
Yeah, it's really kind of like a game of Jenga, right? I mean, you know, it's like you shift one piece and then you have another contingent that's not for this. And really, you know, going back to the point I was making earlier about how this funding could be in jeopardy. I mean, again, you know, we thought that these border talks and potentially, you know, this could be posturing on the part of some Democrats in terms of backing away from the negotiations. Maybe, you know, if the leader does move forward with some kind of vote on supplemental funding this week, maybe that forces Republicans' hands a little bit more. They can put more pressure on Republicans, but it really is a tenuous situation to try to find something that not only is palatable to Senate Republicans and Senate Democrats, but also House Republicans. And as you know, Bob, it's very hard to get agreement, not only among the chambers and the parties, but just, you know, with these more specific conservative factions. So it's a very difficult position that I think Congress finds itself on a range of issues as we near the end of the year.
And Nancy, quickly, House Republicans might be pretty chaotic on some fronts, but they might be united on impeaching President Biden in the coming months. The White House often shrugs off this as something that they're not taking seriously, but it could be something that really weighs on the legislative schedule and their ability to have any kind of deal with Republicans. What's your latest reporting quickly on that?
Well, the White House continues to push back, Bob, to basically say there's no there, and that the facts just simply don't support an impeachment. And as long as there are even a handful of Republicans who have been saying that publicly as well, they feel pretty comfortable that this isn't going to go anywhere. Now, you know, if push comes to shove and those Republicans who have said they don't see a lot of evidence actually have to take a vote and either side with their party or against it, then they could be in a very difficult situation. But for now, the White House continues to argue that they are doing the work of the American people, that they are focused on major issues of war and peace and the economy, and that what you're seeing on Capitol Hill surrounding impeachment is more of a sideshow.
Nancy Cordes and Nikole Killion, thank you both so much. We appreciate it.